Cecil's dad took another farm, so we lived in the farmhouse, you see, and then we started to grow, raise chickens. So we were busy with the chickens and so on. And then we were married lived in the farmhouse, and then of course I had a baby, see. I was married in January, I think, and I think Janet came then following February. A lovely little girlie I had. That was Janet, my baby. And Cecil's dad was so pleased because he had 4 boys, and then this little girl came into the family. So she was made a lot of fuss of. I think Janet, perhaps as a little girl, she was spoiled because she was a pretty little girl, you see. Anyhow, Janet was 2 years old, and we lived in this farmhouse, and then I had another little baby. This time it was a little boy. But I didn't know it was a little boy. It was a little boy, and we called Janet. And then when this little came, oh, he wasn't quite so pretty, perhaps as big as Janet, but he was a lovely little boy, and we called him John. Well, why we came to South Africa? Why? Because Cecil's dad took this extra farm, you see. Then he didn't want it any longer. So it meant somebody else took that farm, you see. And that meant Cecil hadn't got a job, but he was well, I should have told him more. He was working for his dad, you see. Cecil was doing his apprenticeship. He was doing 4 years apprenticeship and 2 years apprenticeship in horticulture, and he was in Surrey doing his 6-year apprenticeship when his dad turned ill. So he said Cecil must go home and help his dad. If his dad was strong enough, his constitution was strong enough, he would pull through. Well, Cecil's dad pulled through, and then of course Cecil stayed on with his dad. But then, as I said, he didn't want to sit. We had this farmhouse we could stay in, but he didn't want the farm any longer, so it meant we had nowhere to live. So what did we do? Cecil had to look around, what shall I do now? But in the meantime, a cable came from South Africa that there was a vacancy in Stock Ayres for a propagator. Well, that was what Cecil was trained for. He did 4 years horticultural training, 2 years he was doing propagating. So of course he was qualified for the job, and that's how he got it, and that's how we came to South Africa. Cecil's dad had 4 sons, and none of them were a farmer. None, they all had different jobs. No, well, Cecil had horticulture. That was wonderful. He had a wonderful life, horticultural, you know. No, he was with Stock Ayres, and then of course Stock Ayres, he was at Stock Ayres, and then of course the railways came, and they wanted, I suppose they offered him more prospects. So of course he left Stock Ayres, a wonderful firm in Rosebank, and then he went to, started with the railways in Johannesburg. I think we came to South Africa in 1939. Cecil came 39 before me, and then I came in 1940. And then he hadn't been here so very long when the war started, and he did his duty in the war. Cecil was with the 6th South African Armoured Division in the Second World War, and he was there until that finished. When the war finished, he was in Italy. No, he did his duty for his country. He met his brother in Egypt. I've got a photograph. His brother was in the English Air Force, and Cecil was with the South African Armoured Division. He was with the tanks. My husband was with the tanks. South African Armoured Division, and he worked with radio. He was a radio mechanic with the tanks. But he did his duty, yes. He was in Italy a lot of the time, and he was billeted with some people in Italy. And after the war, we went back for a trip to France, England, and Italy, and we met up with the people he was billeted with during the war, and they greeted us. We had to have a meal with them, a big plate of macaroni, a big plate of food anyhow, and they welcomed us back, and Cecil was billeted with them with the war. I thought, what a lovely gesture. This was in Italy. I managed very well in my turn. I was at Rosebank. I was at Pinelands then, wasn't I? I was at Pinelands. Anyhow, no, I mean, the children were very good. They went off to school and so on, no trouble. But I mean, I missed him very much. But he was doing his duty, and what else could I? I couldn't be cross or anything. No, no. And the children were very happy at school. So no, and I got busy with this and that. So that.
What did you get busy with, Dory?
Oh yeah, I got busy with street collections and things like that. I've always been one for street collections and helping with helping with charity work has been my life. Because I've never worked, you see. I didn't bring any money in for my husband. He provided me with all the money. We had a very lovely home, etc., etc. But no. But the children were very good, and I did quite well at school. Janet did quite well at school. During the war, when John went to school the first year, it was during the war, they had little prizes, and he had a little book, and in his book was the best worker in the class. Wasn't that wonderful for a little child? The best worker in the class. And Janet and me, it's in the Harrow's blood. We have hard-working people, hard-working. Janet is saying, I've been busy all my life, but now I can't do much.